Hello everyone and welcome to the user guide video for BOLO version 16 Fall 2020. In this video I will go over how to use the application both as a root user, which is a super admin, and as an officer. In this first section of the video I will be going over how to use the application as a root user. The root user has the most power in the application and has the ability to delete other users, delete all archives, as well as see BOLOs across the entire application, including multiple agencies. Firstly, what you want to do is go ahead and log in as root and then use the password given to you by your administrator or person in charge of the project. Go ahead and close this because when you're in testing environment that will pop up. And the first thing I will show you is how to add a BOLO. To add a BOLO, you simply click on Add a BOLO. You put the date that it was reported, and we'll say that it was done today at 9 a.m. And let's go ahead and create a robbery. We have different types of categories such as arson and domestic abuse. And go ahead and add an image. For this one, I'll go ahead and scroll down, find a random image here that is relevant to the robbery. So let's go ahead and put that as robbery. And I'll just say, hey, there was a robbery in Miami-Dade. Now, at the very bottom, we'll go ahead and click Allow Comments, which will allow other users to comment on this BOLO. And if I go into my email, I can see that once that BOLO is created, an email is sent to me notifying me of that BOLO creation. So let's wait 1 second here. You can see I have BOLO notifications searched in my email, and we'll go ahead and see it pop up here. Just takes a second. Now while that's loading, you can see I have the picture of the robbery here, and in this section I can see that I can update it, archive it, as well as see the details and delete it. There you go. Now if I go back, you can see at this time right here that this BOLO notification was sent to me that a robbery has been posted. I only posted one picture, so the other pictures aren't showing. If I go back to the BOLO application and I want to delete the same BOLO, I can go ahead and look in my email for BOLO notifications. I see there's no new ones, but if I go ahead and delete the same BOLO that was just created, I'll go ahead and see another email that's been sent to me. Now while that's loading, I'll go ahead and show you how to search user action logs. And to go back to the BOLO notification, you can see here that when I remove that BOLO, the selected BOLO was successfully removed from the database, which was the robbery BOLO. Now, user action logs are actions that happen throughout the entire application. And these actions can include creating a BOLO, subscribing to a BOLO. If you scroll all the way down, you can see that at this time, just a minute ago, where the BOLO was deleted and where the BOLO was created. Now to filter by different things, such as logging in and logging out, I could say, hey, I only want to see login and click this login checkbox filter. If I also wanted to see logouts, I could do that as well. And the same goes for a different BOLO create, BOLO read, etc. I could also filter by date by clicking begin date and end date. Let's see what was in between the 1st and the 5th. And there was only 2. And let's say I also wanted to see BOLO create, and there's nothing there. Oh, yeah, there actually is, which was done on the 4th, so that's included from the 1st to the 5th. Now, if I wanted to clear all these filters, I could simply do that by pressing clear filters. And the data is restored, and all the rows are viewable. If I wanted to export this same user action log PDF, I could simply click the PDF button and wait for the download, and you can see that once you click the download, you can see all the user action logs exported to an uneditable PDF. The next thing I will be going over is how to add a user guide. Now, the root user is the only one able to do this, as well as view user action logs. Now, to add a user guide, simply go to the category you wish to look at. So in this case, I'll go ahead and say archives. And there's one here already called how to archive BOLOs. And let's just say I wanted to say how to remove BOLO from archive. And I'll go to that section, archives. And I wanted to add a step. So let's say I wanted to add removing from archive as a step. Step 1. and we'll just say 1 right here, and we'll go ahead and save that step and press done. If I go back to archives, I can see that that bolo has been removed, that step has been added on how to remove the bolo from archive. I can also add an image to that same step, which will show the user what to do. So once I go back to archives and I open that step that we added, I can see that here the image is available. So for instance, in this first step, how to archive bolos, this says click on the archive button, and that'd be the first step, and then the second step would be how to remove bolos from archive, and so on. That is the privilege of a root user, and as I said, only the root user is able to view user action logs, create user guides, as well as edit bolos across all agencies, which are filterable here, categories, and locations. That concludes the first section of this user guide video. Hello, in this section of the video, I will demonstrate how to log into the application and use the application as an officer. An officer will be only able to see their agency and no one else's, and I will demonstrate that here. For instance, in the roots user, you could see the different agencies as well as filter by agency, but in this one you cannot. You can only filter by category and by location. And on the upper right corner for the root, user action log was available, as well as other properties that were only capable to be accessed by the root user. In this case, we can only see my account, about us, and log out. The same thing goes for this one when adding a bolo. You simply click a bolo, and you click on the date you wish to add the bolo, the time, robbery, and add an image. So I'll go down here and add a random image, and we can just say robbery in Broward. And the difference with this is that you're not allowed to choose which agency that this bolo belongs to. It'll immediately save to your agency that you're assigned to as the officer. And that is how you add a bolo to an officer, and it is only available within his agency, and if he cannot delete it, he can only archive it. So only root users are able to delete bolos, whereas officers cannot delete them, they can only archive them. That concludes our demonstration for user guide for Bolo version 16. Thank you for joining us.